All right, so we have finished as per our system of linear equations is concerned, but we will be using those ideas again and again. That's very important that you need to understand the system of linear equations and the ideas that were used, rank, multiplying by invertible matrix and so on, because we'll be keep on using those ideas again and again. Fine, that's one thing. Another thing is that in the motivation part, in the first lecture, we had said that whenever we solve a system of equation, it also gives us relationship between vectors. Fine. So the idea of vectors will be now discussed. So we'll first look at what are vectors for us. Fine. It will be almost the same as what you learn in physics. Fine. But you'll have to understand what we are doing for the time being. And then maybe you'll have better understanding after some time. So we'll learn what are called vectors and then see how the system of linear equation gives us answers here as such. Fine. So let's proceed. And we'll see that once we learn vectors, there will be a lot of ideas which will come to system of linear equation, which will become easier to solve, easier to understand. All right. Right. So we proceed with it. So we start with what are the conditions for R3, vectors in R3. So let's recall what are the conditions, what are the properties of vectors of R3. So if I look at R3, the elements are going to be something like X, which is X1, X2, X3. There are three components. So let me write it as column vectors itself. So I'll put a transpose. Y is, but I may forget, all right, Y1, Y2, Y3, transpose, and I have Z, which is Z1, Z2, Z3, transpose. They belong to R3. Now, what do I mean by saying that they belong to R3? You already know what 3 is basically. It is collection of all elements alpha, beta, gamma, such that alpha, beta, gamma belong to R. All right. So this is the notation for us, and this is nothing but your Euclidean space. Fine. Euclidean space. Fine. So let's look at the properties. Properties were. So those are the notations that I said I'm using. The first thing was there was a notion of what is called a vector addition. What is vector addition? That I had an element X, I had an element Y belonging to R3. Then we defined, then a sum of vectors was defined. Sum of vectors was defined. That is, we wrote X plus Y and we defined it in such a way that this was again an element of R3. All right. Fine. That is X plus Y. We defined it such that this happened. All right. And it has some properties. One was that X plus Y was same as Y plus X. Commutativity hold. Holds. Fine. That was one thing. Fine. B was associativity hold. Whether I want to add X plus Y first and then Z, or I first add Y plus Z and then add X, I should get the same thing. Only the sequence of moves does not matter. Associativity holds. C, there was zero vector, so R3 has the vector 0, which is same as 0, 0, 0 transpose, such that X plus 0 is equal to 0 plus X, which is same as X, for all X belonging to R3. D, for each X belonging to R3, we have minus X, which was nothing but minus X1, minus X2, minus X3, again belonging to R3 itself, such that X plus minus X is same as minus X plus X, which is the zero vector. All right, the zero vector here is 0, 0, 0 transpose. All right, and so these were the things that were important for us. So I'll just write what they are called. They have some special name. So this is called 0 is called the additive identity, that if you add 0 you get the same thing. Then this minus x that you have, for each x you have minus x, this is called the additive inverse, notion of additive inverse. Fine. So these two we have already seen what they are. So let's proceed further. So at vector addition, there was a notion of what is called a scalar multiplication. The scalar multiplication. What was the scalar multiplication? Take any alpha belonging to R. Then we defined, or we understood, that alpha times x is nothing but alpha x1, alpha x2, alpha x3, and this is also an element of R3, and it also satisfies certain properties. What are the properties? The properties where a 1 times x is x for all x belonging to R3, and this is, what is this one? This one is an element of R, which is a multiplicative identity. So 1 times a is a for every a in the real number system. All right, fine. So I have b here. This is 1. Then you have alpha plus beta. Sorry, it's a multiplication that I'm looking at, not a scalar multiplication. So alpha times beta of x is alpha beta times x for all alpha beta belonging to R and x belonging to R3. Fine. So these are the two properties which are important for us. So this was, first I multiply by beta and then by multiply alpha. I will get the same answer if I multiply alpha beta together. That's the idea here. Fine. So there's a sequence that is there, which is important. Third is what is called the distributive property. Distributive laws. What are the distributive laws? So I will not write them, but the idea was that alpha plus beta times x is equal to alpha times x plus beta times x, and alpha times x plus y is equal to alpha dot x plus beta dot y. Sorry, alpha dot y. Alpha dot y. Right? So the idea is that how does the scalar multiplication and vector addition, they relate to each other. All right. So these were the properties that are very important, and you need to know them, that this is what we have done. Fine. So this is true for R3, and we take it as the definition for our vector spaces in general setup also. All right. So we want that any vector, any set that I want to call vector space should have these properties. Is that okay? So definition, let me write the actual definition that I want. Definition. So here everything was with respect to R. Fine. But I could talk in terms of complex numbers also, or any field or any scalar field that I can think of. There I can talk of all these things. Fine. So let me write the definition. Definition. Let V be a non-empty set and F a set of scalars. So when I say set of scalars, basically I'm saying that F is a field, and field means I'm talking of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and there is a division by non-zero element. All right. So F has to satisfy all these four properties. Is that okay? Commutativity and so on, everything happens. Whatever is true for real numbers, it happens here also. Fine. Then F is said to be a vector space over F. So this over F is very, very important. Sometimes we just skip it, but it's important because the scalars are coming from F. So what multiplication is allowed and what scalar multiplication is not allowed matters a lot. All right, so over F. Over F. So generally we write it as V like this. That's the notation for us. or something like that. If the above conditions mean these are the conditions that I've written here, they should hold. So for the conditions to hold, what I need is that I should be able to define. So we should be able to define, vector addition and scalar multiplication. This is the thing that we should be able to do. So we should be able to define them, and with the above definition the properties mentioned should be satisfied. Properties mentioned above must be satisfied. Is that okay? So this is very, very important. I would like you to understand it, that I have such a thing. Fine. So the important thing is that if you look at this definition, we need to have a definition of addition, vector addition, and a scalar multiplication, and some conditions should be satisfied. So I would like you to recall that if I look at lecture 2 or lecture 3, I think maybe lecture 2a, I have looked at matrices here, m cross n matrices, and for that we have defined vector addition and scalar multiplication, and all the conditions are satisfied, whatever the condition I want here. Fine. So therefore set of matrices m cross n are also vector spaces. All right, so please check it that yourself, that we have already seen an example of such a thing. Fine. So already seen, important, already seen that the set of all matrices of size, particular size m cross n, so m and n are fixed, mn fixed, I cannot change it, for size of size m cross n forms a vector space. So what is the addition? Addition is component wise addition, and multiplication is again multiplying each component. Fine, we have already seen. Some more examples. So this is examples. This is 1. 2, set of real numbers itself. R is a vector space over itself. So I'm saying that I can multiply also, I can add also, both the things I can do. So I would like you to see it. 3, in general, you can also say here that R is also a vector space over Q. And in this case, if you're saying this, then so here, so I'm looking at Q here, rational numbers as my, what should I say, as my scalar field. Here I cannot talk of, we cannot talk of root 2 times 2, or root 2 times root 3, I should write here, root 2 times root 3. It doesn't make sense, but 1 times root 6 makes sense. So there are ambiguities that are there and you need to understand them. So let's not get into it. So this is not in the syllabus. So this idea is not in the syllabus. So our syllabus has R and C are the only scalar. Is it okay? So that's the important, but there are vector spaces over other things also, and therefore, and they are very, very complicated, not easy to understand. So we'll not get into that part. We'll understand the easier ones. Fine. Third, Rn. Rn is nothing but x1 x2, xn, each xi belonging to R, for 1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. So I can add, so if I write this as x, fine, x transpose like this maybe, then I can say that x plus y is nothing but x1 plus y1, x2 plus y2, xn plus yn transpose, where y is nothing but y1 to yn. I didn't write it, so I'm writing it now. Fine. Similarly, I can talk of multiplication, scalar multiplication, as alpha x1, alpha x2, alpha xn transpose. Fine. For alpha belonging to R. Is that okay? So I can do this, and you can check that all the properties are satisfied because it is similar to R3 itself, nothing special about it. Fine. Another example is over Cn complex numbers. So if I look at our complex numbers, so I have Z here, which is Z1 to Zn, and each Zi again belongs to complex number, 1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. And we have similar thing here, that is, so I will again take x to be a complex number itself. This is an element of Cn, y is an element of Cn, and therefore I can talk of x plus y as it was done earlier. So it is nothing but defined to be equal to x1 plus y1 till xn plus yn, the same thing, and alpha times z is nothing but alpha z1, alpha z2, alpha zn. Important thing is that here alpha can be real as well as complex numbers. Fine. Both are allowed, and therefore we need to differentiate between things. All right. So important, if f is set of real numbers R, then I times this 1 0 0 0, which is an element of Cn, is not equal to I 0 0. Fine. If I'm an Rn, because this is not defined as the scalar multiplication holds for R only, for real numbers only. Fine. So this is one we have to take care of. Second part. So if f is complex number, then everything is nice. Then I times 1 0 0 is indeed equal to I times 0 0 0. All right. Because here I belongs to complex number, which is our field. Fine. There it was not there. So this is what you have to differentiate between real and complex. So when you're solving system of equations, where are you solving? Are you solving over real numbers or are you solving over complex numbers? Those things matter. All right. So this is what you need to understand. Matrices I've already told you, so there's nothing special about it. The other thing that I would like you to know is that if I have a single set, so if my vector space V just consists of the vector 0 from wherever that 0 has come, then I can talk of 0 plus 0, alpha times 0, and so on. So this is a vector space, having exactly one element. Fine. Then I also have set of all polynomials. That is a notation for us, set of all polynomials in R with coefficients from, coefficients are coming from a polynomial in X, coefficients from R. All right, so coefficient, set of all polynomials in X with coefficients from R. All right. So how do I add the two polynomials? You already know that if I have a polynomial f of x, which is a0 plus a1x plus an x to the power n, I have another polynomial g of x, which is say b0 plus b1x plus so on till bm x to the power m. Then what we can do is that we can add extra. So if m is less than n, Then I can add extra zeros here. So 0 times x to the power m plus 1 and go on till 0 into x to the power n. And then add it as fx plus g of x is equal to a0 plus b0 plus a1 plus b1 of x and so on till an plus bn of x to the power n, where bi is 0 for m plus 1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. Fine, I can do this. Similarly, you can do the scalar multiplication, multiply every point by 0. So c times, so alpha times f of x is alpha a0 plus alpha a1 times x plus so on plus alpha an times x to the power n. All right. And you can see that all the properties are satisfied. So this is about all the polynomials that I have. I can restrict our attention slightly more and say that we want to look at only polynomials of degree less than equal to 4 or less than equal to 5 or less than equal to n in general. So I can talk of all polynomials V, set of all polynomials in X, and I want the degree of the polynomial to be reduced by, say, a stop at 4. Suppose then I'm looking at all polynomials of degree less than equal to 4. And then you can verify that everything holds. So in general, I can also write V as set of all polynomials of degree less than equal to n. So fix n belonging to natural number. And then I can talk of this set of all polynomials less than equal to n. Fine. So there are lots and lots of examples. I've just given you a few of them. We'll create lots of examples as we come along over real numbers as well as complex numbers. And I would like you to understand that basically for us, vectors are, so polynomials, you may get confused because I can multiply polynomials, but as far as the vector space is concerned, we are only multiplying by a scalar. All right. Two matrices could have been multiplied, but we didn't multiply. Fine. We just looked at vector addition, that is sum of two matrices and a scalar multiplication. Even if I say that I am looking at rectangular matrices, there it is not meaningful, but matrix multiplication is meaningful for square matrices. For square matrices also, I can talk of vector addition and a scalar multiplication. So we're restricting our attention to just the vector addition and a scalar multiplication as far as the polynomials are concerned, and we want to understand those sets. That's the basic idea, right? As we go along, we'll see that we can think of them as directions and so on as you study in future. All right, but for us, there are no direction for us. We are only looking at vector addition, that I have a set where vector addition is defined and a scalar multiplication is defined. Nothing beyond that for us. Is that okay? So we'll end this class here itself. Get used to those ideas. We'll look at the next ideas in the next class. All right. Every class will have some idea or the other which will come into play. At least 2 or 3 ideas will come in each class. New definitions, new ideas, which will again get related with our system of linear equations. All right. So each will be coming across again and again. So get used to it. Thank you.